2 are the same thing. By definition of subtraction, any subtraction can be written as plus the opposite. So if we think about this as -8 and -2, they're both negative. So we're going to add them and keep it negative. 8 plus 2 is 10, and keep it -10. So far, so good. All right. Second rule. If they have different signs, meaning one of the numbers is positive and one of the numbers is negative, we're not going to add them. We're going to subtract them and keep the sign of the one we have more of. If we have more positives, we'll make it positive. If we have more negatives, we'll make it negative. So when you look at this first example, and write this down in your space under rule number 2. A -4 plus 5. Even though it says plus, we have a negative and a positive. When one is positive and one is negative, don't add. In your head, you subtract. 5 minus 4 is 1. Now, should it be positive 1 or negative 1? Positive 1. Good. We have more positives than negatives. Because 5 is bigger than 4. All right. Next one. I've got -6 plus 3. Even though it says plus, I have a positive and a negative, so I'm not going to add, I'm going to subtract in my head. 6 minus 3 is 3. Now, do you think it should be positive 3 or a negative 3?
Negative.
Excellent. Why is it negative in this case? Exactly. The 6 is larger than 3. We have more negatives than positives, and so this is -3. Excellent. And the next example in this section, -5 plus 7. One is positive, one is negative, so we're going to add or subtract? Subtract them. 7 minus 5 is 2. Should it be positive or negative?
Positive.
Excellent. Why is it positive?
Because there's more positives than there's negatives.
Excellent. We have more positives than negatives, so this one should be positive. Now, I left a pretty big space in the middle of the paper. So I'd like you to squeeze in some more examples, maybe next to those, underneath those, somewhere in the middle of the page I got some more examples to go through. -5 minus 1. I want you to look at this as a -5 and a -1. And since they're both negative, add them and keep it negative. When they have the same sign, we add them and keep it negative. Now, even though this one says -7 minus 3, I want you to think of that as a -7 and a -3. And when they're both negative, you add them and keep it negative. So that's 10, but it's -10. Make sure you put that negative on there. Because a negative plus a negative is still negative. Next one, 2 minus 6. That's like a +2 and a -6 being combined together. When one is positive and one is negative, we subtract them. But should it be +4 or -4?
Negative.
Excellent. Why is it negative? Why is it negative? April. Exactly. There's more negatives than positives. 6 is bigger than 2. So we have more on the negative side. Okay, last one in this section. -3 plus -10 is? Excellent. They're both negative, so you add them together and keep it negative. They're both negative, you add and keep it negative. So far, so good? What's the third rule? Third rule on the notes today, if you see minus a negative, then you need to change it to plus a positive. If you see minus a negative, you're going to have to change it to plus a positive. Now, here's the first example I want you to write down. 4 minus -3. 4 minus a -3. When you see that minus a negative happening in the middle, it's going to change to, whoa, hey now, 4 plus 3. And 4 plus 3 is 7. Okay, here it goes again. There's minus a negative happening. a -6 is? Nice. Minus a negative changes to plus a positive. 4 plus 6 is 10. Boom. Guess what? You're done with your notes. That's it.
Are we supposed to keep this on?
Yes. All right, now, tonight for homework, we have, technically, we have classwork and homework.